3 sodding weeks in a rubber dinghy. I've made it though. I can barely breathe. I haven't had any water for the past week and a half. I can hardly see, but there's somebody here on the beach with me. He's coming this way. I can barely make out his features. It's Dr. Hammock.
Oh, hello, Daleks X. What are you doing here?
What am I bloody doing here? What are you doing here? I came to rescue you. You said on Twitter you'd been swallowed by a whale.
Oh, right, yeah, I kind of made that up. You see, I'm used to Bouncy taking a month or two to have an internet flounce. So when that happens, I just come up with a story and go and have a holiday. Bouncy has no ability to differentiate the plot of the show from reality, so he's never questioned it.
But the newsbot's been sending me coded messages implying that you're in danger.
Yeah, it does that. Once I went to the Orkney Islands and it called in a bomb threat, so the island would be evacuated. And I'd have to come home, bless it.
It's a bit of an anticlimax, to be perfectly honest. Oh well, I still like what you've done with the place. The big volcano over there with the faces of myself, you and Bouncy carved into it is a nice conversation piece.
Thanks.
And I see you've got yourself an Island of Dr. Moreau-style menagerie over here. So what's going on with these cages full of unholy freaks of nature? What's the idea here?
Well, everything you behold in these cages is a miracle of the untamed world, culled not from the bosom of nature, but from the internet itself.
Oi, let me out of here, you fuckers. I need to get back and review some films.
That's astonishing. It's almost as if he's trying to communicate.
Yes, I hope to have taught him rudimentary language by the year 2016. God willing, he'll be able to host his own podcast.
Right. Well, We Are the Holocaust Season 2 Part 2 kicks off tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I'd better get back to that flat, seeing as I've spent the last 6 weeks faffing around trying to rescue you instead of writing material for the show.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Bouncy and I had a bit of a set-to about me refusing to pay for the Holocaust premium account. So, mum's the word on me owning a private island, yeah?
No problem. Nothing to worry about. Yep, fine. You're not live on Spreaker.
What?
Bye.
Year 2011. File. We Are the Holocaust. Corruption and violence force the podcast underground. Unregulated and ungoverned, the podcast degenerates into a fiasco. Year 2012. File. Holocaust in your lug holes. Attempting to regain public interest, the podcast is reorganized. Holocaust in your lug holes is born. 5 years later, a new team emerges. The new team is Bouncy Deluxe.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. It's a little after 9 on Wednesday the 29th of August 2012, and I am your host, Bouncy Ball, finding you in high spirits, hopefully, well, at least higher than I am, because I am feeling absolutely fucking dreadful. Yeah, I started off all positive, didn't I? And now listen to me. All bittered, all angry, all pent up. You know why? You know why? Because this piece of shit PC that we broadcast this from is down to its last strip of bloody gaffer tape. It's now, I've had to use 6 Hello Kitty plasters and a couple of old toffee penny wrappers from out the Quality Street tin just to hold it together. So who knows? We're you know, live web radio. It could crap out at any moment. So you know that's the excitement in the air. Will it all go wrong? Will it all be fine? So welcome back. Holocaust in Your Lug Holes, Series 2, Part 2, Episode 7, Retros. Got to say it like that. Not retro, it's Retros. You'll know why later. If you're not sure how to pronounce that, obviously I've just said it out loud. It's not like it's on paper, but it's like Retros, but pronounced like Waitrose, but said with an air of mysticism and slight procrastination. So, Retros. Anyway, so we're back. We've had a bit of time off, and this time was going to be spent working on content for the show. Oh, that was exciting, wasn't it? None of that happened. You know, if you remember last series, Hock sold us out to Lowcog, and we ended up with a missile placement on the roof of the flat. he got posted away, probably not in an envelope, but he got posted, sent. He got paid to go abroad on holiday to some like kind of exotic island, apparently, where all reports come in that he was swallowed by a gorilla whale. Didn't hear any more about it. You know, a little bit of talk about him struggling to get Wi-Fi, it being a bit damp. So Dalek, the Dalek, then rushed off to his aid and left a series of travel logs on his Sex Adventures Spreaker channel thing. And neither of them are back. So here we go, first show back, and I'm on my own, sitting in the flat. And what makes it worse, and this is the bit where I kind of open my heart to you a little bit, listeners, and I'm not after sympathy, we're not asking for donations either, this is not like me being Bob Geldof, give me all your fucking money, or whatever he was supposed to have said, or did say, or whatever. He probably did say that, I'm pretty sure he did. If he didn't, he should have done, because it's a good thing to say. If you're collecting for charity and you go, hello, I'm collecting for charity, I was wondering, you'd say no, mostly, you know, you'd be like, oh look, I'm a nice fella, but I've got things I could be spending money on. If somebody comes up to you with a knife and went, give me all your fucking money, whether it's for charity or not, you pretty much hand it over, don't you? So what you really want is, rather than those charity muggers, where they just stop you in the street with a clipboard, what they should really be doing is stopping you in the street with a flick knife and you know, and a stocking over the head. Just rob the public for charity. It'd be quite good. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I've been left here on my own, and a lot of weird things have been happening. Like all this planned time that we had, I've just been sitting in the flat playing on the Vita mostly, which, you know, doesn't exactly have a huge catalogue of games. So every now and then I'll just sit in the silence, and obviously we've got the abandoned Rumbelows underneath us, and there's these like weird noises, like kind of like things being moved around, and there are people going in and out every now and then like every day, 3 times a day, somebody comes to doors like banging on the door, shouting for the occupier, and I'm like, well, didn't answer it because I don't like answering the door, and I'm not Mr. Occupier, I'm Mr. Bouncy Ball. If they'd have asked for me, I'd have answered the door, but you know, you don't open other people's posts, so I don't open the door to people who are calling for a different name. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that. What I do know is there are a lot of kind of red final demand letters by the front door, and I'm not touching any of those because, you know, frankly, bottom law dictates that if you don't put your dabs on it, plausible deniability, you don't have to pay the fine, do you? That's how it works. So yeah, I've left the front door completely alone, and I've been going out through our kind of loft hatch now that's been built when they took the missile kind of firing mechanism down. They didn't leave it up for the Paralympic Games, apparently, as inspirational as they are. Any attack wouldn't really be too devastating because, being on Channel 4, they're actively hoping there will be a terrorist attack, just for viewing figures, and then they can make more advertising revenue. So yeah, that's how evil Channel 4 is. BBC, great coverage of the Olympics, like iPlayer apps and PS3 apps, and you could watch everything in different angles, and commentary and no commentary. Channel 4 just wants a full-on jihad blowing up stadiums. Or not, you know, obviously Twitter joke trial dictates that I can't say that, but I've said that, but I'm not saying that. So yeah, all this stuff going on downstairs, all these letters, sitting on my own. It's been miserable. The weather outside's miserable. The weather inside's miserable. The only silver lining, no graffiti in town from Wanksy. That's the only silver lining. But other than that, it's made me feel like, wasn't it so much better when we were kids, you know? Like, when it's so much better back in, I don't know, pick a year randomly, like, I don't know, 1989. That was a good year.
We bought a Sinclair Spectrum, a Rumbelows for 129. Played it till our fingers bled, was the summer of 89. Bought a copy of Lords of Midnight, each played a different character. Bouncy led, Hog played Morgan, Sex refused unless he got to be the Utah. No one ended up with Corleth, that's okay cause the Fae were bullshit. I'll dump the ring into the lake. It didn't do fuck all to it. Those were the best days of our lives. Back in the summer of '89.
Yeah. Like the summer of 1989, you know, you had all really cool stuff, and like Back to the Future was around, and we were like still waiting for the later Back to the Future films, so we didn't know that it was going to turn into a western and go a little bit rubbish. Yeah, we didn't have all of that. It was just like, oh look, it's nearly 1990, and what's it going to be like? And Sesame Street was great, and the Muppets was still kind of popular, and consoles and games were amazing, you know? Like 1980s, the first console, first computer I ever had was an Acorn Electron that my dad got off my dodgy uncle. I probably mentioned it before. And I can remember sitting and playing Percy the Penguin at like midnight because my dad was on it. Wouldn't let me play, but I watched it. You had to crush these things with ice blocks, and that was brilliant. You know, that you don't get that these days. Oh, I want a console. I'd go to a shop and I'd buy it with my money. That's no fun. It's better when, you know, I used to go around my nana's house, my uncle's old bedroom. He had an old Atari, so I'd play that. If I went around my Uncle Daryl's, he had an Amiga, so I'd play that. If I went round creepy Uncle Pete's, he had a tin whistle that I'd have to blow into. It wasn't much fun. But yeah, that was a great time, you know. I got a Master System with a copy of Pro Wrestling and Sonic the Hedgehog and Dragon Crystal, I think, as well. I was made up. That was an amazing moment. We've all seen a video of kind of Nintendo 64 kid getting his Nintendo 64. We were like that, you know. I go out and buy my Xbox. I'm excited, you know. I got the new Halo Xbox, not the new one that's not out, obviously, but the last one when Halo Reach came out. I bought it. I was like, oh look, it's all shiny, and I stroked it. I plugged it in and I played it. That was it. When I was a kid, I would have even plugged that in for about a day. I'd have been like, ooh, look at this! Look at this! Like when I first played the Spectrum, you know? I had a Spectrum and, you know, overlooked. Commodore 64, Atari ST, Spectrum. These machines were great. You know, we loved them. We lived. I mean, like I was thinking the other day, like how great the Spectrum was, and I found this tape in Ham-Hock's room. It's been a bit weird, right? I went in Ham-Hock's room because I was trying to work out, you know, if he's been eaten by a whale, should I empty his stuff out and rent the room out? In his room, it's just all either C90 audio cassettes or mini discs. That's it. No books, no furniture, no recording devices, just a rack of C90 audio cassettes and Sony mini discs. Anyway, on one of them it said Specky, so I played it, and this came on, which brought back a lot of memories.
You're listening to Holocaust in your leg holes, retro special.
So there, yeah, you know, that was good, wasn't it? Like, welcome to Holocaust in your leg holes retro special. It's almost like he knew we were going to do it. Almost like we had a plan at some point that never got enacted because he got eaten. But by finding it, a bit like that. Oh, what was that film? There's been loads of films, like time travel films, where they put something in a box. Oh, they did it Back to the Future, didn't they? Where we'll park the DeLorean in a cave, and in the future you'll go in that cave, and because the caves don't move, DeLorean will still be there. It was like that. He was like, he'd put that cassette there on the hope that I'd find it. There was another cassette there as well, where he'd made up like a mini game show all on his own, all based around digitised like music and stuff. So if you're a fan of Name That Tune and retro stuff, this might just be for you.
Hello fans, it's Dr. Hamhock here. Let's name a tune of retros. Do you remember the film Ghostbusters? Good. When you get fucked on by a ghost in the film, you hear...
He slimed me. That's great!
Do you remember Activision's Ghostbusters game from 1986? Good. When the Ghostbuster gets fucked on by a ghost in the Retros game, you hear... you hear the sound of iron filings being blasted into tinfoil by a leaf blower. This is why I love the digitising. I love the digitised Retros game music. I also love the Retros game show, Name That Tune. So I thought to myself, Dr. Hamhock, why not combine the worst of the two and create something truly Retros? Are you ready? Let's name a tune of Retros.
Name that tune. Retro Special. Bit crushed for your pleasure. Where were you when you first heard this? Remember this one? This classic. Home Select. Digitized for your entertainment. Name that tune. Retro Special. Came at you. Retro Special.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you next time on Let's Name a Tune of Retros.
So yeah, there you go. There's Ham Hock's Name That Tune of Retros, which I think could actually be the #1 rated show on UK Living, if it was released, if it existed, and if people watching it were blind and deaf and in a submarine or something. But there was one in there that every time I hear it, just everybody loves Jive Bunny, don't they? Everybody loves Jive. Even if you don't like Jive Bunny, you do really. Jive Bunny. If you're not old enough to remember Jive Bunny, you probably won't like Jive Bunny. But if you're old enough to remember Jive Bunny, you like Jive Bunny. You might even hate all the music that Jive Bunny kind of put out individually. But when they put it together, you like Jive Bunny. I like Jive Bunny. It was like every year, on New Year's Eve, my family, we'd all get together and we'd dance Jive Bunny. We'd do the twist, but with the Jive Bunny version. And mind Chubby Checker, the Fat Boys, they could fuck right off. Not when Jive Bunny came on the scene. Fucking Jive Bunny. Motherfucking Jive Bunny. Jive Bunny, bitch. Jive Bunny. Jive Bunny. Tell you what, I remember listening to a lot of Jive Bunny when I was at university. Probably haven't mentioned this on the show. This is where Dalek and I first met. We were in the same dorm. Say dorm. That sounds very American, doesn't it? We were in like a pokey little bedsit, and I don't know what he studied. I never saw him study. He kind of like he was there, and he got good grades at the end of it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I mean, he could effectively be like a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist or something, because he got like the equivalent of 4 GCSEs. Like after 4 years of university, like whoa, which for our university that was good. I did 3 subjects, and just got a Tufty Club badge in each, which I don't. Since then, every job I've been to hasn't meant anything. They've said, "What qualification you got?" 3 Tufty badges. Nothing. That's why I work in retail now, because of Tufty badges. That'd be a warning. Any of you, like you young'uns who might be listening to this, hopefully not too young, you young'uns who are listening, if they can go off to university, make sure you get better than Tufty badges, because they mean fuck all in the workplace. Absolutely fuck all. So anyway, we were at university together, and every week I'd have like, let's play a board game, Dalek, let's play a board game, and he'd be like, okay, explain the game to me, or, not, he obviously has that with German accent, but yeah, and so every week I'd try and explain, and I remember there was this one time, it's traumatic. I mean, I'll say that much, it was traumatic. There was this one time I tried to teach him how to play Guess Who, you know Guess Who? Yeah, tried to teach him how to play Guess Who.
Alright, so how do we play this again?
Well, I'm thinking of one of the faces on small plastic tiles, and you have to guess which one it is by intelligent asking of questions and a process of deduction.
Alright, so I can ask any question at all?
Any question at all.
Right. Are they male or female?
Male.
Then I'm not playing.
What?
I'm off down the student union. They've got snakebite and blacks for £1 down there.
Alright. I'll choose a different person.
Right. Wait, have we started again?
Yes.
Ask a question.
Yes.
Right. Got it. Okay. Does she swallow?
What?
Does she swallow?
It's a children's card game. How am I know the details of their sexual proclivities?
Well, you're the one pimping her. And not very well, I might add. Have you actually played this game before?
Yes, I've played this game before, and it never involved pimping.
Well, you're the pimp. You get to decide, does she swallow?
No.
Right.
God, what are you doing?
Well, she doesn't swallow, so it goes in the microwave as an example to the other plastic pieces.
That's not how you play it. It's not an it, it's a she, and she had a name, and it was God, I can't read it anymore. The plastic's bubbling.
Alright then, next question. This one here. Does she take it up the bum?
No.
Alrighty.
Stop doing that.
Doesn't take it up the bum. She goes in the blender as an example to the others.
Stop it.
Look, Bouncy, I'm trying to help you establish dominance. You're making it very difficult.
Stop destroying my property.
How about this one here?
Don't ask me anything.
Does she...
I don't know. I don't know anything about the sexual preferences of any of these plastic playing pieces. And even if I did, what they did or didn't choose to do with their bodies would be none of your business and a matter for themselves only.
Wow. Really?
Really?
Oh, I see. Feminist, then.
Oh, God, not the garbage disposal.
Ooh. Look at her go round and round down there. She's really putting up a fight. That's why you have to single them out, you know.
My mum gave me this game when I was 6 years old.
6 years old?
Yes, you happen to be destroying a precious memento of my childhood, both in a literal and a highly creepy sexual way.
Was it a birthday present?
It was.
From your mum?
Yes.
Does she take it up the bum?
Oh, yeah, so they all pretty much went round like that. I mean, there was a day we played Cluedo and 3 of the faculty staff were found strangled in the conservatories of their abodes. Yeah. But, you know, guess who? It was a great game. It's still a great game, but it's not, you know, it's not as good as some of them. The other day I was playing Carcassonne. Yeah, there's this like whole new trend of Germany's very good at board games. Oh yeah, Germany's very they're very good at dominoes. Variations on the theme of dominoes. But it's not a proper game unless you've got like kind of half a ton of plastic. That's what you need, half a ton of plastic. Like, do you remember? There was a game I had. It's like an Incredible Hulk game. I think it was called The Incredible Hulk Smash game or something, and it was basically a bit like Disney's Dinosaur, but The Incredible Hulk, and you had to build a little house to put Dr. Banner in and rescue him, and the Hulk would smash it up. That was good. That had a lot of plastic. Yeah, Scribble Scramble. Oh, yeah. In Time Team, in 100 years' time, they're going to one day dig up a hole, find 3 copies of Scribble Scramble, a Kong Mountain, and a copy of Kaplunk, and they'll be like, wow, what a relaxed and chilled out people they were. There was nothing relaxing about those 3 games. Scribble Scramble was just like, if you ever did it, you'd fluked it. There was no skill involved. Kong Mountain, oh, bloody hell. How many people lost the ball bearing in that? Borrowed the one out of Scribble Scramble, and then found it was too big to fit in the hot air balloon. Loads of people. And then Kaplunk, I mean, Jesus. That whole game is the perfect metaphor for the current state of the banking system. If you're playing the game with my little sister, aged 3, and she's representing the bankers there, and I'm representing the kind of the consumer with the money in the bank, and I'm watching all their marbles dropping, and I'm thinking, oh, why did we let this happen? But yeah, everything was better then. I don't know. I started off this show on my own. You'd think doing it on my own wouldn't be so bad, but I've got these files I found and playing them, but it's just not the same, is it? And it's like, well, we didn't come back at all. Yeah, all these letters. I was like, well, I've got a crapped out PC, and then like you get these like inspirational diary things. There was this thing. It's like, important events that happened today. This is obviously the 29th of August, right? In 1833, the British Empire abolished slavery, right? Wow. That was the end of an era. Yeah. 1949, first Soviet A-bomb testing, I'm assuming. It says A-bomb on there. But again, it was like the end of them as an ally. Start the Cold War proper. And 1966, the Beatles' proper last live performance, not including that one on the rooftop. So it's like, this date in history is synonymous with the endings. And here I am, like, on my own. Shop downstairs has been kind of bought by the look of it. They're going to want us out of here. That's why I've not touched them letters. One of those letters, right, no word of a lie, had a stamp on it that looked like kind of an official... had lots of very official stamps. One looked like the police, one looked like kind of the prison service, and one looked like the Dennis and Menace fan club. In the top left-hand corner, it said very, very urgent. The second very was underlined, and urgent had 3 exclamation marks after it. And then on the back, it said, from the office of a complete and utter bastard. I was like, well, you're not going to open that, are you? Don't ignore this letter, it said. Well, I'm not ignoring it. I can't ignore a letter that's luminescent. Like, who sends out luminescent envelopes? Oh, this will stand out. Yeah, it used to be a red bill. Mine now glow. So they've been irradiated. There's just a big pile of posts. I'm not touching any of it. But, you know, how can we have a show without Dalek and Hock? You know, I'm going to run out of these tapes. And then what? You know, I don't know when they're coming back. I don't know if they're coming back. Just, like, I just wish I had a good old point-and-click game, but they've gone to shit, haven't they?
Hello, I'm Dr. Hamhock, and I'd like to talk to you about the problem with modern adventure games. Once was a time where developers could not rely on technical production to paint the picture. Developers would offer scant information and allow the player to construct an infinitely detailed image using their imagination alone. As with dreaming, playing a game in your mind's eye is personal, immersive, and quite often trippy. As an example, I'm using what is regarded as the first text adventure from 1979. It's called Colossal Cave Adventure. Here's how it sounded originally. You are standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. A small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. You are inside a building, a well house for a large spring. There are some keys on the ground here. There is a shiny brass lamp nearby. You're in a valley in the forest beside a stream tumbling along a rocky bed. At your feet, all the water of the stream splashes into a 2-inch silt in the rock. Downstream, the stream bed is bare rock. You're in a 20-foot depression floored with bare dirt. Set into the dirt is a strong steel grate mounted in concrete. A dry stream bed leads into the depression. Today, in 2012, the technical freedom which video game developers have at their disposal is amazing. But as they fill in all the detail visually and aurally, our mind just watches on helplessly, shedding a single tear. It consumes and no longer creates. We are no more literate. We are dreaming less. We are thinking less. We are creating less. Just before we all go off and weep, here's how Colossal Cave Adventure, in this age of digital overproduction, would sound in 2012.
CRL presents a William Crowther game. Colossal Cave Adventure.
You are standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. A small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. You're inside a building, a well house, for a large spring. There are some keys on the ground here. There is tasty food here. There is a shiny brass lamp nearby. There is an empty bottle here. You are in a valley in the forest behind a stream tumbling across a rocky bed. At your feet, all the water of the stream splashes into a 2-inch slit in the rock. Down the stream bed is bare rock. You are in a 20-foot depression, floored with bare dirt. Set into the dirt is a strong steel crate, mounted in drums.
You think you're the only superhero in the world? You've become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet. Who the hell are you? Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
So yeah, adventure games, they're gone. Right. I remember playing one, BBC Micro. I don't even know the name of it anymore. I tried Googling it once, couldn't find it. But you had to do all these puzzles and get like shapes that would fit in the bottom of a boat so you could get on the boat and escape or something. And you had a bit where you had to play a piano. That was really good. It's really good. Like, go north. Oh, you're standing in a clearing. Now it's like, oh, there's a light on the floor that shows you exactly where you need to run. Open world game, but it will tell you where to go. This whole podcast. I mean, while I was listening to that, I found my bendy bully. It's not even a real bendy bully. This is one of those reproduction toys that are sold in Argos, overpriced for people that watched Bullseye and never won one. And when you squeeze it, it goes like that. It goes out, and it also does. Hang on. Oh God, can you imagine that? Like, oh, just when Hot gets hold of this, it's like, oh, all day. It's like, oh, look, we're on Bullseye. Let's have a look what you could have won. Woo! Do you remember that? Oh, the gave two in a bed or whatever it was. I don't know. I can't even remember now. Jim Bowen and I nearly said Eric Clapton instead of Eric Bristow. That would have been funny, wouldn't it? One way they said, and who have you got? You've got Eric Clapton. And it comes on, and he's just got 3 guitars. He throws them at the dartboard. Not going to happen, though, because A, the programme finished years ago. Oh, I think they brought it back. And I have a horrible feeling Peter Kay might have presented it. So I don't know. I would have never watched it. It was bad. So, yeah. I just, I don't know. You look at some kind of retro games and you think, they're really good. And then other retro games, you think, well, they were better then, but they're not so good now. And the reason for that is that you've got like with GoldenEye. GoldenEye the N64 is a shit game, really. You play it on your own nowadays, unplayable. Played it back then when you hadn't played multiplayer before. You've never had 4 of your friends around shooting each other in the face and slapping each other and playing with paintball balls and giant heads and golden guns and people on their knees just kind of gliding around. It was cool, it was fun, and it was brilliant, and everybody has fond memories of it, even though the game itself was intrinsically flawed. It was, but then it would be because it's early on in the days of kind of console-based multiplayer. But it was great then. Now, not so much. Now every people want, oh, look, let's play Team Fortress. It's free to play, and there's all these events. You get all these items. You get all these hats. It's like, well, what part of that is more fun than playing with your friends? And most people kind of they party up online and play with their friends because they want that feeling. They will say like sofa-based game is better. Best game I ever had. Ever get my favourite all time. If I go to an arcade, the one thing I always hope I'll see is Pac-Man. And I know it's a bit cliche to say Pac-Man. I love Pac-Man. There's a simplicity to it. It's you and a joystick. There's no buttons. There's no combos. There's no hidden bits. It's you and a joystick. And if you fuck up, it's your fault. If you get caught, it's your fault. You shouldn't have gone there. There are certain patterns, but you muck up, it's your fault. And every time I go to an arcade, I always try and get the high score. I always set the score name as BNC because it sounds like bouncy. Hock maybe this mini disc. This is another one left with the kind of welcome to the retro show. It's another one with Pac-Man written on it, so I thought I'd give it a listen. I figured I'd talk about Pac-Man a bit as kind of a convenient segue into it. Hopefully it works, and it makes me sound super professional.
Hi, Dr. Hamhock here. Just playing my favourite waggle stick game. Can you guess what it is? That's right, podcast consumers. It's the Pac-Mans. I love the Pac-Mans. It's from the time before. Before the time. That's why I love it. It's a retro, and I love a retros. Don't you just love the music? Love the sound effects? Oh, you do? That's great. Because I fucking hate them. Would you like to hear my remix? Good.
And it goes a little something like this.
Hills, 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 hills.
Bargain booze. Dr. Hamhock sitting on the toilet.
Don't tell him, Pike.
Hills. Hills since the 70s.
This is a journey into the news.
Bargain booze since the 70s.
Yeah, that's not like I remembered it, but it was funny. It's funny all the same. So yeah, it's Pac-Man was great. I like pinball as well. I used to love the Simpsons pinball arcade machine. I like the Simpsons. I like the Simpsons arcade machine as well. But the Simpsons pinball was cool. They had one in like the reception area at Skegness Butlins in the late 80s, early 90s. I used to like that. I used to play it all the time. I didn't mind it today if I could play pinball. The Addams Family, that was a cool table. Terminator 2 had a cool table. Ripley's Believe It or Not had a cool table. There's a lot of cool tables. I used to like the ones where they were kind of feature sets, big mould, like custom mouldings, stuff like that. I used to like that. But pinball's kind of it never really caught on as a retro thing because you can't really buy them as easily. Not the average bloke. Yeah, there's always that knob who's got a couple in his garage. You're like, oh yeah, I've got my own arcade in my garage. No, you haven't. Bought some stuff off eBay or off a mate down the pub. That's not an arcade. Have you got sticky carpet that smells of like stale smoke, hot dogs and beer? You ain't got an arcade if you ain't. You got one of those change machines where you put a pound in and get a load of 2p's? If not, you ain't got an arcade. Have you got kind of an illiterate person that sits in a booth and will push a button and some change will come down a little twirly slide into your hand? Or, worse still, when they just give you a bag. I used to love that, like, oh, chink, 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 and all the money would come out. Love that. And then sometimes they just give you a cash bag. You're like, you couldn't even be bothered to put your coins in the dispenser thing so I could watch it come down the slide, which is the natural extension of them twirly things where you put a 2p coin and it goes down a spiral, like for charity. You know what I mean? And it goes like, blink, and you hear it, and you go, oh, yeah. And then sometimes every now and then you drop it and you just go, and you'd be like, oh, fuck it. Need another 10p, Mum? Do you need another 10p? I've got a penny. Oh, the pennies aren't as good. They're too light. I have two 2p's, but you got to do it with your sister. And you're like, oh. And then they crash, and you'd be like, you idiot! You went the same way as I did! What's wrong with you? So, yeah. I'm sorry if I sound a bit nervy. There's a car outside again. I think it's them. I think they're coming back. It looks like a taxi, but maybe they've got a taxi instead. So I may just run off. At any moment, I may just run off. But yeah, thank you for listening. We are back. Hopefully next week, maybe Hawk and Dalek will arrive, and then we'll do something different. We're definitely going to figure out what's going on in that shop, because that's no good. Oh, it's horrible, horrible feeling there's something nasty just around the corner. But what can you do, eh? What can you do? So thank you very much for listening and all that. And oh shit! Somebody coming. Right. Goodbye. I'm going to go and hide in Hock's kind of. I'm going to hide on the roof. See ya. Bye.
Bouncy. 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 Bouncy, I can't get the door open. Bouncy, there seems to be a large amount of junk mail blocking the door. Bouncy? Alright, if you're there, I need you to stand back from the door for a second. Oh, that's better. Hi, Bouncy, I'm home! Oh, he's not here. Oh, looks like he's left the Spreaker console running. Am I live on air? Oh, nice, he's obviously flounced off somewhere and left the show recording. Typical. Alright. Don't stop listening. I will fix everything. Just give me a moment. Ah, that's better. I will now rescue the show and answer the Holocaust flat mail at the same time. Let's have a look here. It says reminder, and it's in red. That's good news. Bouncy's obviously subscribed to some kind of reminder service, because he never checks the email I send him. You know, listeners, life isn't really that bad nowadays. People complain that Simon Cowell has ruined the music industry, but popular culture has in equal measure provided us with the tools to put Rage Against the Machine at #1, just to say, Simon Cowell, up your bum with a speculum. Ah, good, here's my membership badge from the Norwich and Macclesfield Brony Love Association. As I was saying, life these days is really pretty good. People complain about app-based stores and freemium games destroying our way of gaming. Oh, look at that, it's another reminder. Another red one too. Well, good for you, Bouncy. But in the long run, app-based gaming and freemium games and micropayments are taking us closer to what we used to have back in the 80s. Nowadays, we can pay in micropayments for retro games and imaginative indie masterpieces which made the industry great in the first place. Oh look, it's a turd in a jiffy bag. Obviously this is an exciting miniature art installation sent to us by Wanksy. What I'm trying to say, listeners, is that we're not getting further away from what we had. We're getting closer to the dream. Because we are the Holocaust. And this is Britain. And we're all going to be evicted? Shitting dick nipples! Bouncy! Bouncy!